Welcome back and welcome to part 3 of this Blender tutorial series where we're creating this bird nest nature animation. If you haven't seen the previous parts, you can check out the tutorial playlist linked in the video description. So in this part, we're going to start to really bring the scene together. So we're going to be modeling the larger branches, we're going to place the bird nest on the branch, and then also place the leaves around. And if you'd like to help support the channel and purchase the finished tutorial project files, you can get that with the link in the description. Now, if you like creating nature in Blender, then you might be interested in checking out my Vines and Ivy Geometry Nodes modifier setup. So it's a modifier setup which you can add to curve objects, and it generates vines and ivy along the curve. So you can go into edit mode of the curve and edit the curve handles. You can even use the curves draw feature to draw curves, and that's going to generate vines and ivy. There's also some custom settings on the modifier side panel, which you can use to customize the vines and ivy. If you'd like to check out the product, then I'll have the product link in the description, and you can also learn how to create it yourself by watching the tutorial. Link is in the description. So let's start by creating the larger branch. So I'll go to the add menu, I'm going to go to mesh, and I'm going to add a cylinder. Now right behind me on the add cylinder settings, I don't want it to be this high resolution, so I'm going to turn the vertices to 16 so it is lower resolution, and I'll close those settings. Then I'll scale it down to a 0.1, so just scale the object down to 0.1, press Ctrl A and apply the scale. And then I'll rotate it over and we'll rotate it on the y-axis by 90 degrees. And I'm not going to apply the object's rotation because if I hit Alt R to clear the rotation, I want the default rotation to be pointed up, and that's going to be useful later when we do the texturing. But I do want to rotate the object over. Let's bring it down, and then I'll go into edit mode. So we'll go to the face select, and I'm just going to select this face, and I'll go to top view, and I'll go into wireframe, and I'm just going to extrude this out. And if I hit 1 to go to front view, you can actually see that front view is in this direction. So if I go back to object mode, I want to rotate it by 90 degrees like that, so it's going back like that. So I'll bring this out and then scale it way down, and I can start to rotate it, kind of rotate it over like this. Let's also hit Ctrl R for a loop cut and drag this loop cut over, and I don't need the proportional editing, so I'll turn that off. Let's hit Ctrl R, add another loop cut right there, and Ctrl R to add another loop cut right there, bring that over. And then if we go to the vertex select, I can just box select the vertices there, and I'll bring the vertices over and kind of scale them up a little bit. Box select those vertices and scale them up a little bit just to create the basic shape for that branch. And also if I go to the face select, I'm going to select the very front face and the very end face, and I'm going to delete those faces because we don't need them. So let's go to the vertex select, and I'm going to Alt select that loop there, and I'm going to extrude it out and scale it up so it's a little bit bigger and farther back. And if I go again to top view, I'll box select this here and extrude that out so it's even a little bit longer, and it starts to rotate over. Let's hit Ctrl 2 to add a subdivision surface with 2 levels, and I'll use the object context menu and shade it smooth. Now later in the video, when we do the texturing, I'm going to be adding a displacement to this because we're going to be adding bark to this, and I want the bark to look more realistic. So what I'm going to do is turn up the viewport and render levels up to 4. Now if that's going to lag your scene too much, you can turn the levels viewport way down, but I'm going to keep the view and render both up to 4, so it has more resolution. So let's now click over here to go to the shading workspace. And if I click on the drop down, I'm going to add the bark 012 material. But then what I'm going to do is click on this button here to duplicate the material so it is separate so we can customize the material. And this I'm going to call bark large branch. Now this material is already using the object coordinates and the vector, and it's using the box, projection, and the blend of 0.2. So if I go into the rendered view just to take a look at this, you can see it already is placed pretty well on the object. And if I hit Ctrl A and applied the rotation, you could see here on the side, the bark just wouldn't really look correct because it's going in the wrong direction, but the bark should go along the branch. But because I didn't apply the rotation, if I hit Alt R to clear the rotation's actually up and down. And so this way it looks like the bark is going along the branch. So that's really useful. But I do want to add some displacement. So what I'm going to do is hit Shift A, we'll add image texture. We'll drop it down here and we'll click on open to open the texture. And I'm going to navigate to the folder with the bark 012. And what I want to do is select the displacement map. So it's going to be this gray one here, and I'll click on open image. And on the sRGB, we want to change it to non-color because it's not contributing to the base color. Now let's also put the mapping into the vector there, and we want the texture, the displacement to align up with the other textures. So again, we're going to do the same thing. So the flat to box and the blend to 0.2 so that it aligns up with the other textures. So let's put the displacement color into the displacement. But then I need to search for the displacement node, and we're going to drop it here between the displacement and the material output. So drop it here, and I want to put the normal into the height value. So now you can kind of see it looks more bumpy, but it's not actually popping out of the mesh. That's because we need to click here on the material properties, and we need to scroll down. And we want to go to the settings, and then we want to go to the displacement, and instead of bump only, we want to change this to displacement and bump. So now you can see it's popping out of the mesh, but it is way too strong. So let's make it less strong. So I can just drag the scale way down. So you can see now it's quite a bit less strong. I'm going to turn the scale to just a 0.03. So it's much less strong. Now I also want to change the size of the bark. So if I go over here to the mapping, what I can do is click on the scale and then drag down and then drag back and forth. And I'll hold down the shift key to change the size of it, or hold down the shift key to make my movements more sensitive. And I'm just going to drag that up. Maybe something like that, maybe around 1 or a little larger than 1, just like that, so the bark is a bit smaller. And then I also want to change the colors, so I'm going to search for the RGB curves, and I'll put this after the base color. And then if I click here on C for color, I'm going to click to add a dot here and just drag the dot down so that it's quite a bit darker. I also want to add a bit more red because I think that would look nice. So I'll click on the R for red and click here and drag it up slightly into that corner. So it just has a little bit more red. So that looks a little bit better. Now the topology is still a little bit low going back and forth, and that's because if I go into edit mode, you can see that there just isn't that much topology going back and forth this way. We do have a subdivision surface modifier, but the faces are really long. So what I'm going to do is hit Control R, and I'm going to scroll my mouse wheel to add some loop cuts, and then left click and right click so the loops stay in the center. So that's closer to a square. Let's actually hit Control Z to undo that. Hit Control R, scroll my mouse wheel until they're closer to a square, and then place that there. So Control R, scroll my mouse wheel until it's about a square. So you can see like that, there is now a square. So left click and right click so it stays where it is, like that. And you can already see the bark looks quite a bit more detailed because it has more geometry there. So I'll do the same thing here. So Control R, add some faces there and some faces there. And then back here, when it's getting farther away from the camera, we don't need to add that many loop cuts because it's farther away from the camera. And the camera view is going to be kind of like over here looking down at the nest. So you can see we now have a pretty realistic bark material. So let's now add a camera. So I'll go back here to the layout and let's save the project again. And I'll go to the add menu and I can add a camera. And I'm going to move the camera's view to about here, kind of pointed looking down. And I'll hit Control Alt and Numpad 0. Control Alt Numpad 0 will bring the camera to our view. And if you select the camera, you can hit G to grab. You can also hit G and then tap the Z key twice to bring the camera forward and backwards. We can also rotate the camera, so hit R and then hit Z to rotate it on the Z axis. Now I want to move the camera and the lights and other random objects into their own collection. So I'm going to hold down the shift key and select both of these objects, so the camera and the empty, and I'll hit M to move. Let's click on new collection. I'm going to call this lights and camera and then click on create. So now we have this lights and camera collection for these other objects. So let's hold down the Z button and go up into the rendered viewport mode. And in the cycles rendering engine, you can hit Control B and you can drag a box around the camera and let go. And that way it's only going to render what the camera can see. So now let's start to place things in the scene. So I'll bring the camera in a little bit like that. Maybe bring this back a little bit and also rotate it a little bit over like that. And then this here, let's just bring it down, move it back, maybe scale it down a little bit more, and we'll rotate it. Bring it up like this. And it might be a little bit easier to do this in the material preview because it's going to show up in real time. But you can see the material preview doesn't have the same lighting. So what you can do is you can click here on the material dropdown or the shading viewport here, and you can click on scene lights and scene world. So this way it's going to basically show us what the render would look like in Eevee. That's useful. But for the final render, I'm going to use cycles because it's more realistic. So for the nest here, I want to drag the nest down, put it right here so it's kind of just placed there on the side of the tree branch, kind of like that, and we're going to tuck it in between two tree branches. So let's add a depth of field to the camera. So what I'm going to do is just place the 3D cursor right about here, and I'll go to the add menu, and I'm going to add an empty plane axis. So you can move this empty around. I'm going to scale it down and stick it right in here inside the nest. And let's hit F2 to rename this empty, and I can call it focus. And then we'll hit M to move, and I'm going to move it in the lights and camera collection. So we'll now select the camera, and we'll click here to go to the object data properties of the camera, and I'm going to click on depth of field, and then on the focus object, we can click here and start to type in focus and add the focus. So we'll go into the camera view, go into the rendered. So now if I turn the f-stop way down here, you can see it's very blurry. I'm going to turn the f-stop value to like a 2. That way you can see that the depth of field is kind of strong because this is a smaller scene. We're kind of looking at the bird nest. So it's kind of blurry here and also blurry in the background, but the bird nest is pretty much all in focus. Now I do also want to rotate the HDRI a little bit because there's actually some better lighting which I like better. So if I click over here to go to the shading, let's go into the rendered view in the camera, and if I click up here on object, we can change this to world to edit the world nodes. Now if I click on the HDRI, we'll hit Ctrl T to add the texture coordinate and mapping, and now what I can do is use this rotation Z value to rotate the HDRI because I want to find some better lighting and also a better background. So I'm going to turn the Z value to 200. So I really like 200 because you can see now there's some nice lighting kind of shining on the side, because if I look back here, there's a lot of bright lights here from like the sky. It's really bright, so that's kind of in the background, and then also we have this nice green background which makes it look like you're in a forest. But I do want to make everything a little bit brighter, so I'll go to the add menu and I'm going to add a light. So we'll go to light and I'm going to add a sunlight. Let's drag the light up here, and I'll hit M to move and make sure I just put it in the lights and camera collection. Let's click here on the light settings, and I'm going to turn the strength up. So let's turn the strength up to 7, so it's pretty bright. And then here on the color, I'll make it a slight yellowish color, so it kind of looks like sunlight. And you can rotate this around. You can double tap R to use trackball rotation and just find some nice lighting that you like. I'm going to keep it pretty much just pointed down. I do think 7 is a little bit too bright though, so instead I'm going to turn the strength of the light just down to like a 5, so that's a little bit better. So now what I want to do is go back here to the layout, and let's go into the material preview so we can see it in real time. And I'm going to select the branch here, and what I want to do is duplicate the branch, so hit Shift D, and then I can rotate it on the Z axis. We can scale it down and move it over, and I'm going to stick this branch right here, right next to the nest, so that the nest has support, so it's not going to fall off. And then I'm going to duplicate this branch again, so hit Shift D, and we're going to rotate it. You can also double tap R to use trackbar rotation, and I'm going to have one smaller branch right over here to also support the nest. So stick it right there. Let's go into the camera view, see how that's looking. And the displacement definitely makes the branches look so much more realistic, because the displacement actually makes the little chunks of bark actually pop out. And you can select the nest and select the focus. So the focus empty there, and you can just bring the nest over and kind of stick it down, and just bring it down just far enough so it's kind of just tucked in there in those branches. So it looks like it has a lot of support. So now what I want to do is place all these leaves. So I'll hit Shift D to duplicate, bring the leaves over, and I can rotate the leaves, move them over here. And I want to make it look like the nest is kind of safely tucked away in this tree. And so I'm going to place some little branches here and there. I want to place some branches like really close to the camera, so it just kind of gives a nice effect that you're like looking through the branches, looking through the trees. You can, of course, if you want to, make more variations of branches, but I'm just going to have one branch and duplicate it because it's going to be pretty hard to notice that it's actually the same branch because there is a strong depth of field and we're pretty close up, and I'm also going to kind of move them around and put them in different positions. All right, so let's put one there. We'll duplicate this again. And one thing that is actually useful to do if you're not going to change the branches is instead of hitting Shift D, you can hit Alt D. So if you use Alt D, that is going to duplicate the branch, but it's going to use the same data. So in edit mode, you can see if I move a part of the object, it's going to use the same data. So it's basically like an exact copy, but that will actually keep the memory lower for Blender when it's rendering. So it should render a bit faster and be easier on the computer. So it's not super important for this scene. It's not like I'm having hundreds of these branches, but you can do that if you want to. So you can use Alt D instead of Shift D. And I want to have more branches on the back so it looks like it's really in a tree. So let's scale this one up and bring it there. So if I go into the rendered view again, I just want to make sure that there's lots of little leaves there in the background. So I'm going to go to top view and hit Alt D to duplicate this again. Let's put another one over here on this side, kind of on the back. So double tap R to use the trackball rotation. Let's kind of fill this in here, and then Alt D again. rotate this around, maybe have one pointed more down. Now the last thing that I'm going to do in this part is I want to add like some shadows to make it look like there's a lot more leaves on the top. Now what I could do is just duplicate these and kind of move them over, kind of move them on top here, and then you can see it looks like there's like little bits of shadows. I'm basically going to create like a light gobo effect to make it look like it's in a very thick forest with lots more trees on top. So I'm going to delete this, and then what I'm going to do is go to the add menu, and I'm going to add a new mesh plane, and we'll scale this up and bring it right up here, and I can hit M to move and just make sure it's in the lights and camera collection. So just stick it here above the scene. And we're going to create a cool animation. We're basically going to create kind of like a light gobo effect. So there's going to be like transparent areas where light can shine through the plane. And then we're also going to add a displacement to make it kind of ripple and move. So it looks like the leaves are moving in the wind. So let's go into edit mode, and I'm going to use the object context menu and subdivide this, and just continue to subdivide it. You can click on the subdivide setting here and turn up the number of cuts. So I'm going to type in maybe like 50 or maybe even like a 60, and then close the subdivide. So now you can see it has a lot of geometry. Let's go over here to the shading workspace, and let's go into the rendered view. And instead of the world shading, I'm going to use the object, and we'll click on new to add a new material. And this material I can just rename to like light gobo or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to go to the add menu and search for a noise texture and drop this here, and I'll hit Control T to add the texture coordinate mapping, and I'm going to use the object coordinates. And then I can take the factor, and I'm going to put the factor into the alpha so it's transparent in some areas. So a little bit of light will be able to go through. But then what I'm going to do is search for the color ramp and drop the color ramp in between the noise and the principled. And I'm going to drag the black tab over and drag the white tab over like that. So you can now see that there's little areas where it's transparent because we basically created a transparent mask. And then as for the noise settings, I also want to change these a bit. So I'll turn the scale to 12, I'll turn the detail up to 3, and I'll turn the roughness up to a 0.6. So it's a little bit more detailed. So now you can see without it and with it, it really looks like it's in like a dense forest or there's a lot more leaves in the tree. I'm also going to take the base color and turn it to fully black, and then I'll turn the roughness all the way up to 1. So it basically doesn't have any reflections. So now what I want to do is add a displace texture to make it kind of ripple. So I'm going to go back here to the layout. We'll go to the modifiers, and I'm going to add the displace modifier. Let's click on new to add a new texture, and I'll click on this button to go to the texturing properties. And instead of image or movie, we'll change it to clouds, which is Blender's procedural noise texture. And I'm going to turn the scale to a 0.4. So it's not too big, and then we'll shade the object smooth. And then I can go back over here to the modifiers, and I want to turn the strength down. So I'm going to turn the strength to a 0.15. So now you can see there's just going to be some little ripples. Now I want to have the ripples move. So if I go to the add menu, let's go to empty, and I can add another plane axis empty. Let's move this empty up here, and I'll hit F2 to rename this, and I can call this Gobo animation. So Gobo animation, let's hit M to move and make sure it's in the lights and camera collection. Now this empty, I'm going to have it move up and down. So let's hit 1 to go to front view, and I'll just move it like right up here in the corner of that grid. So let's go to frame 0 at the very starting, and I will hit K, and we're going to insert location. Then we'll go to the very end, which is 250, and I'm going to bring it down. So hit G and Z, and I'm only going to bring it down by about half a Blender grid like that. Hit K and add a location. So if I hit the spacebar to play, it's moving slowly. So if I hit the A key in the timeline, I will hit the T key, and I'm going to change the interpolation to linear, and that way it's going to move at a consistent speed. So we're now going to make the location of this affect the displacement. So if I click on the displacement, what we're going to do is change the coordinates. Instead of local, we're going to use object. And then if I click on the object, you can either use the eyedropper and click on the object, or you can start to type in Gobo and add the Gobo animation. So now you can see it's just rippling a little bit. So if I go into the rendered view, you can kind of see what that's looking like. So I need to kind of pause it so I can actually see what's happening. But now if I go into the camera view and play this, you can see if you kind of look on the leaves or kind of look here, you can see it looks like there's just some little leaves which are rippling around. And I definitely don't want to make it too strong, because if it's too strong, then it might just not look like leaves, because I don't want it to move too much. So I might even turn the strength down to just like a 0.1 instead of a 0.15, just a 0.1, so it's not moving very much, because the leaves aren't going to move all around. They're just going to move around a little bit, but they're going to mostly stay where they are. So the scene is really coming together. I'll hit Control S to save, and so that's going to wrap it up for this part. So thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying the tutorial series, and in part 4, in the final part, we're going to finish the entire scene. So we're going to be adding the blue jay eggs, we're also going to be adding some little feathers, we're also going to do like a camera animation, and then render the scene and do some quick video editing and add some sound effects. So when the final part is released, I'll have it right up there on the end screen and the link will be in the video description. So thanks for watching and I'll see you in the final part.